أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه وله سلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد, we continue with the book of الإمام ابن الجوزي رحمه الله تعالى. Today we talk about رياضة النفس. رياضة النفس. الرياضة يعني exercise, can be physical, it can be mental or spiritual. Those are the three components of any human being. Spiritual, this is the ruh, and this ruh is not defined. It is من أمر الله عز وجل. سألونك عن الروح قل الروح من أمر ربي وما أوتيتم من العلم إلا قليلا. And they ask you, O Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم, about the soul. Say it is from the order of my Lord, and you have not been given but very little knowledge. So this is a part which is spiritual. It is heavenly. It is not defined. It is a secret of Allah Azza wa Jal, and this is what gives value to this body, to your eyes, to your ears. And this body is not but a host to it. Once the soul leaves that body has no value after that. From a practical perspective, we bury it, it goes desecrate, and it is dissolved in earth, and it becomes part of earth, like it was part of earth before Adam alayhi salam. So we go back to earth. From it we created you, from it and to it we will return you, and from it we will resurrect you again. منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها نخرجكم تارة أخرى. That's the physical aspect. It is earthly, it is mineral, has lusts, has desires, and is the host of the soul. Then you have the mental aspect, which what Allah preferred us over animals. And Allah Azza wa Jalla give us the ability to think, to analyze, and to reach results and to choose. That is the mental aspect. So when we say riyada, exercise, you exercise any or all of those components of your life. Like you exercise your body, cardio for your heart, and so the blood goes to all parts of your body. Exercise your muscles, target certain muscles, not the others, or more than others. Certain muscles more than others. You stretch, you exercise for the ligaments, or exercise for your blood circulation, or exercise for your muscle, exercise for your breathing, general health. That's called physical exercise. And then you have mental exercise, when you do some intellectual quizzes or riddles, or try to analyze something, or try to find the wisdom behind something. That is more of a mental exercise. Trying to solve a mathematical equation, or the physics equation, or chemistry equation, trying to find the reason behind something. That's intellectually exercising your mental ability. Spiritual exercise is when you exercise your soul to be connected to its heavenly ground. You're trying to release it or relieve it from being controlled by the body, which is just a host. So if you succeed to get your soul to be in control of your body, which is a host, then you will find yourself in the presence of Allah Azza wa Jal. You will find everything that Allah ordered you with is easier. You will find that you have better qualities and good qualities, like truthfulness, like honesty, like helping others, and all of that. That's more of a spiritual aspect. It gives you satisfaction. You're happy, you're content, you're this and that. Those things are not tangible, not materialistic, and not mental or physical. So when Ibn al-Jawzi talking here, talking about رياضة النفس from the spiritual aspect. But to make us understand it, he used the physical aspect. So he says الأصل في الأمزجة الصحة, يعني all the substances and the components of anything, physical things, is to be healthy. والعلل طارئة, يعني the diseases are temporary, and the default rule of any body that it is healthy unless it is sick. And everybody is born on the fitrah. on the innate state of creation that Allah created everybody. So he's saying that riyada or sports or exercise does not benefit except someone healthy. So if someone's sick, they cannot exercise. So the exercise that would benefit your body, you have to be healthy. So like you said last time, a person who's sick, person who's normal, person who's healthy, and the person who's athletic. So athletic is the effort that you made from healthy to athletic. So you are above average. You are not just healthy to survive. No, you are able in such a way that exercise will give you extra benefit more than anybody else. So if somebody who's sick, exercising will not help. Actually, it can exercise can actually hurt the person. If a person has asthma, exercising or exerting extra effort without medicine or anything can kill them. If somebody is paralyzed, cannot exercise the limbs that they are paralyzed. If someone have a cardiovascular problem, can be hurt by certain exertion of effort. Somebody have muscle problem and so on and so on. Also, Imam al-Jawzi saying that if you raise a beast from a young age, when they grow, they still have this, they are still an animal of prey. They still will attack and eat meat. And he says that there is a story that somebody raised a wolf when he was young, and then when the wolf grew up, it ate the sheep. So the person asking, how do you know that your father was a wolf? He didn't know that the father was a wolf, but this is the fitra of the wolf. And then he said that human being has three types of powers. قوة ناطقة, the ability to speak. قوة شهوانية, the lust. وقوة غضبية, the anger. So the person whom Allah Azza wa Jal honored with loving knowledge always should take care of perfecting the ability to speak in your nafs, which made you better than animals. You are able to express and speak. So you work on what to speak, how to speak, when to speak, what to say, all of that. So Allah Azza wa Jal preferred you over animals who did and make you like angels, able to speak. So this ability to speak and to listen and be able to speak, use it so it can control the other ones, the anger and the lust. It is like a rider to the horse. That's what Ibn Jawzi said. Like the horse is your lust and your desire and your anger, but your ability to express and think and talk is your rider, the knight. So he's above the horse, should be in control of the horse. But you leave control to the horse will be controlling. It can throw you off, or it can take you to a place that you don't want to. It can injure you or kill you. Okay. So we're able to slow it down, move it right, move it left, stop it, or make it run. You are able to. So القوة الناطقة, قوة الناطقة means your intellect, not only the ability to speak, but you speak because you think. You think, that means you analyze things. You analyze means you process everything that you hear and you see before you say. So القوة الناطقة the ability to express. Ability to express means you know what you're going to express. That means you think about it. That is what it means. So it should be the one in control of your lust and your anger. Stop it when you want and you release it when you want. Whoever is like that, Ibn Jawzi said, he deserves to be called a human being. That's why whenever somebody is angry, you said, oh, he became angry like a monster. You see, he leaves his humanity. And when somebody is lustful, he said he's like an animal. He's like a pig, an animal. You see, we always take them to that side. Why? Because their intellect did not control their anger or their lust. So we always take the humanity away from somebody that their anger make them behave in a wrong way, or their lust make them transgress. So we remove the humanity away from them. So when people are angry and they start hurting others, he said, subhanAllah, they're dealing like animals, like monsters. And when somebody is lustful and they're just enjoying this world and fulfilling their lust, he said they are living like animals. Okay? That's why they said Plato, the philosopher and the Greek philosopher, he said that the true human being is the one that whose expressive nature means mental, يعني strong, is the أقوى الأنفس, is the strongest component over his lustful and his anger one. That's why he said when a person follow their lust and make it right, his humanity, he would become like the nature of animals. And the person who become even worse than animals, because animals fulfill the lust to survive. So the animal's sexual lust is for survival purpose. So it's a necessity. They are just do not have the rules that the human have of how to do it and when to do it. But at the end of the day, the animal lust and the desire is for survival. They don't do it for enjoyment. يعني animal, male and female, they never do it for enjoyment and invent in it and modify it and ask for different ways and stuff like that. No. Humans do that though. So humans, they look for the pleasure. They run behind the pleasure until it encompasses them. So they deviate. So they're actually worse than animals. Okay. That's why Allah Azza wa Jalla said, يتمتعون ويأكلون كما تأكل الأنعام. They fulfill their lust or they have pleasure and they eat like animals. Then another ayah, Allah Azza wa Jalla said, إنهم إلا كالأنعام. They are like animals. بل هم أضل. Even they are worse. So actually, when we resemble a human being to animals, we are transgressing the animals. We are not fair to animals. Okay? We are not fair to animals. يعني when Allah Azza wa Jal said that كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا, said the people of the book, don't be like the people of the book before you. They were like a donkey carrying very precious books that have amazing material of knowledge. Are we here humiliating the donkey? يعني? No. Humans being like a donkey is an accusation to the humans, not to the donkey. Because the donkey carrying the knowledge is not expected to learn it. He's expecting to carry it. والخيل والبغال والحمير لتركبوها وزينة. يعني وتحملوا أثقالكم إلى بلد لم تكونوا بالغين بشق الأنفس. يعني the animals, those mules and donkeys and horses, is to carry your weight and carry your possessions to a place that you wouldn't carry yourself except with hardship. So they fulfill what Allah created them for. But when Allah resembles somebody to the donkey, that it is carrying books, that means you are being like a donkey, but because you're not doing what's expected from you, you are worse than the donkey. Because the donkey, if he does that act, it is for the purpose that Allah created them for. A person who have the knowledge, but then he doesn't use it, and then he gets out of the knowledge and act opposite to it, comes like a dog. That regardless, you're running behind the dog or you're not, the dog is always panting and the tongue is out, whether it's tired or not. So that's what's expected from the dog to do. But when a human acts like that, the human is wrong, not the dog. I hope you understand. So when we say that the human went out of their humanity to the nature of animals, we are not actually here insulting the animals. We are insulting the human being who became like animals in the look or the action, but they are actually, classification becomes worse than animals. Now, that is if a person follows their lust, like animals in general. When a person follows their anger and let the anger controls them, now they're going to act like animals of prey, like they'll act like beasts, like birds with claws that it is attacking its prey, or the animals with fangs. كل ذي ناب من السباع أو مخلب من الطير. We're forbidden to eat those things because of their aggression. So when a person is angry, he becomes like beasts. When a person is lustful, he becomes like animals. Again, beasts, that's how Allah created them. Allah give them. يرحمكم الله, but mute yourself. Um, okay. So, as I was saying, when a person is angry, they become like those beasts or animals of prey, as I was saying, animals of prey. And when they are lustful, they become like just animals, lustful animals. So a human being need to exercise by taming himself, taming his lustful self and his anger self. That's an exercise. And to make it follow his intellectual self. So we become like angels. And he's not enslaved to his anger or to his lust. That's why many people said, I can't control myself. What he means by that means my anger component, the anger component of myself, cannot be controlled by the intellectual component of oneself. Or the lust encompasses me, takes over me. That's why there's two different things: fulfilling one's lust and uh, fulfilling someone's lust, or invoking somebody's lust. So in a time that the person is not lustful, but he likes that feeling, so he goes and invoke it. In halal, it's all right, but in haram, it's not all right. That's why the person who's enslaved to their lust, the lust calls upon them and then they follow it. That's the wrong part. But a person who is in control, whenever they become lustful, they know how to channel it properly. And they know when to stop and when to invoke it and how much and all of that. Anger is the same thing. Yeah, there is an angering situation, but I will not let my angry self leads. No, I'll control my anger. فthat's called رياضة النفس. رياضة النفس يعني the exercise of the soul, spiritual exercise. And he said, how are you going to do? What is the exercise routine يعني? تكون بالتلطف والتنقل من حال إلى حال. يعني it should be gradual. And it should be changing the mood. You see what you do in a typical day. You are a person who have anger issues, person who have lust issues, whatever negative issues. You see how your day goes and watch yourself. Even you can write it down. I wake up in the morning like this. That's what I do. That's my routine. It's when you pray, when you do this, when somebody talks to you today at the work, like a diary kind of thing. Watch yourself for a week or for a month. I prefer a month, 30 days. Most of the things will happen and repeat it. If things don't happen in a month, that means they're not regular. They They're recurring, but they're not regular, like in a weekly or a daily basis. So you see the things that happen to you daily, things happen to you weekly, and things that happen to you monthly. And try to gradually change the routines and see what is the impact on your lustful self or your uh, angry self. I'm angry all the time. So why am I angry? Because the place I live in is small, or my car is giving me a hard time, or my spouse, or my children. Try to pinpoint the reasons of your anger. Is this anger as a reaction or is it nature in things? Like I'm angry at the world. I don't like anything. That means it is something from within. You ask yourself why. You see a therapist, maybe. You read things to calm you down. You read about the story of the good people, about sabr. You learn about sabr a lot, about ihsan to others. Sabr and patience. Ihsan means dealing with goodness all the time, even with the people who hurt you, and so on. So you have to change the modes of operation for yourself. Daily routine, you change it. I sleep on the right side of the bed, let me try the left. When I wake up in the morning, I start with this, let me start with that. Let me brush my teeth first, let me do first. Change some routines and see how this plays a role or how this impact your demeanor and your behavior. Sometimes I'm lustful because you watch too many shorts, or you're in TikTok or YouTube and watch revealing things, or you see things in the other gender that you are mahroom from or deprived from. And that's what entices or sparks your lust. So try to eliminate these things. Then the next step is to attach to it the reward and punishment. If I follow this route, which is hard and tough and all of that, but I get the reward of Allah and the pleasure of Allah at the end. And if I follow the easy thing and I fulfill my lust in the wrong way, then I get Allah's displeasure and the punishment. That will give you raghbah, yani desire in pleasing Allah, rahbah, and fear from displeasing Him. Also, when you add good company around you, when I'm sitting for a couple of hours with people who only talking about Allah and they're talking about the masjid and talking about the Quran and talking about tajweed and talking about these things, giving you this positive energy, those are the ones that you need to stay with. And when you are away from them, you find negativity start coming. So associate with these people more. Make these people integral part of your life. Stay away from evil companies. So these people, whenever I'm with them, that's how they talk. They talk foul language. They talk about sexual things, and they entice in me or encourage in me this lustful sexual thoughts that I cannot resist acting upon, especially when I'm alone after that. So eliminate these people from your life slowly and integrate more people, the opposite, on the other side. So you have to take it easy on yourself. You have to do it gradual. You have to change your routines. Okay. And you have to attach the punishment and reward to it and see what pleases Allah and not. Be in the company of good people. Detach yourself from the bad people. Um, read the history of the pious and the righteous. Okay. Read in the history of the pious and righteous. Some of the also see the things that you love so much and start giving away. That will help you also to get rid of the things that dear to you in a lustful manner without justification. He said some of the guided processors used to love sweets, mitai, yani sweets, halwa, a lot. So he will prepare it for himself. Then he will go qiyamul layl, and when he wake up in the morning, he will give it to the poor and the needy. So one time, the neighbors of one of the guard processors, his name is Malik ibn Dinar, they heard him one night uh, telling himself, طبعا they did not know that he's talking to himself, but he told himself, هكذا فكوني. That's how you should be. So they thought that he's talking to a female because Arabic is like that, kun or kuni. Kun, you're talking to a person. Kuni, talking to a woman or a cat or yourself. But they don't know you. So his neighbor he's narrating this. I said when came in the morning, he said, we know that nobody's with you in the house. So whom you are addressing would be like that. He said I was addressing myself because myself asked me to eat a very special type of bread that mixed with meat and things like that. And I kept pushing myself to it. Like myself is like desiring this, is lusting for this so much. Lust is not normally, it's not only a sexual lust. Sometimes for food, sometimes for authority, sometimes for control. Huh? They said that my self, my nafs, my greedy nafs, my lustful nafs, wanted me to eat this special bread with meat and soup and all of that. And it kept pushing me to do it. So I did not eat for 3 days, fasting, 3 days, and I eat a little bit. So when tonight was the fourth night, so I found a dry piece of bread lying down somewhere. So I went to it uh, to eat it. Then my soul said, you should go and eat the other bread that you're desiring. You're fasting all this time and all of that. Then I answered myself. So it's like a conversation between his good self and bad self. Yeah, that's what he's trying to say. So he said, no, that's enough for you. So I ate it and I said, that's how you should be. Like I'm telling my lustful nafs, that's how I'm going to treat you. You desire something, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm going to give you what you need only. That's the moral of the story. We all desire many things, but you should stop yourself and then give yourself what it's only needed, what is only required. And then he said, هكذا فكوني. That's how you should be. And then Ibn Jawzi said, when your lustful self and your angry self knows this from you, that your good self, that your spiritual self is in control, it will follow. It's like a child throwing tantrums because they know that it brings results. But if tantrums don't bring results, then they'll not throw tantrum. They will follow. And if your lustful self knows you're lazy and lethargic, it will control you. Also from the exercise, so plus all the things that we mentioned, and being in the good company and removing the bad company from yourself and going easy on yourself and attaching the punishment and reward, targhib wa tarhib, and all of this. You also have to account yourself every day for every statement and every action that you do, and every shortcomings and every sin that you commit. Now, when the exercise is complete, then you will be thankful for the hardship that you went through. It's like when a person goes to the gym or exercise, they are sore, they're sweating, they're tired, they're exhausted. But when they rest and they replenish, they drink their protein or their food, eat their food, after that, take a shower and rest, they wake up fresh. They are thankful for the time that they spend exercising. So I said, once your riyada is complete, by doing all the above things that we mentioned, that is how you enjoy later on. Thabit al-Bunani, one of the students of Hurayra, Anas ibn Malik, he's saying, كابدت الليل 20 سنة وتنعمت به 20 سنة. I struggled with قيام الليل for 20 years and I enjoyed it for the next 20 years. طبعا قيام الليل is not a simple deal. So he said it took my training, it took 20 years. Sometimes brothers and sisters I coach and they mentor, they wonder when I say these big numbers. I say you need to study for 10 years to become a student of knowledge. He said, huh? I said, yeah, we are in a time that you think having a certificate or an ijaza or a piece of paper, that means you achieved many things. Oh, I studied these books with Sheikh Mamdouh. I studied 10 books with Sheikh Mamdouh. What does that even do? How much of the 10 books that you brought to your life, how much impact those 10 books and that knowledge you have on others, after yourself, of course. What did it make out of you, these books that we studied? It's not just accumulation, and you say that, I accumulated this, or have books behind you. This is very expensive decoration if this is the case. So that is the idea. Like our shuyukh telling us that for a student to be faqih, somebody who is a jurist, not just a student of fiqh. So to claim that you are following a madhab, you should know the masail of fiqh from the beginning to the end, from Bab al-Tahara to the end of al-Jinayat, penal code, Bab al-Qasama, all of that. So you know the العبادات والمعاملات والجنايات والقصاص, all of this. You should know أحكام الفقه. You read it with a sheikh to say that I am a Hanafi or a Shafi'i or a Maliki. Otherwise, your mazhab is the mazhab of your sheikh or the people around you. You are a follower by just name. Now, if you want to be a jurist, you can give the fatwa to people. You have to study hard for 20 years, 20 سنة, to know the أصول في الفقه, قواعد الفقه. Should know some logic, Arabic linguistics. And then you know the أصول of your own madhab that you're studying, Shafi'i or Hanbali or Maliki or Hanafi. And then you need to know the masail. You need to know the differences of opinion and the analysis. What is the dalil? What is the hukm? How to use this verse? How to use that hadith? And why this hadith is not that hadith? What is the relationship between this and that? Which one came first and which one last? To know the Quran and the Qira'at, you need 20 years at least. You can do simultaneously more than one thing, but 20 years. It took me from, I think, 2000, until 2017, continuously, without stopping, 3-4 times every week. I recite with the Sheikh Quran until I get the 10 qira'at. That's 17 years. And then another 3 years to review and be able to have that knowledge conceptualized, structured in my head. Another 3 years. So 20 years. They were right. 20 years. To master any science, you need 20 years. So sometimes you think I want to finish this course in 20 days and 20 weeks. That is the Western aspect of it. This is like a drive-through kind of mentality. So there is the McDonaldization of everything and Walmartization of everything. Walmart and McDonald's. They messed up the human mind. McDonald's said that you can have a meal prepared in 30 seconds. How that meal was prepared or pre-prepared, or what are the ingredients, or what are the impact, how much is going to fulfill you, all this does not matter. What matters is the standards have changed, that you can have a meal in 30 seconds. So everybody wants a meal in 30 seconds. They don't care about nutritious meal, harmful meal, this meal, that meal. They want that meal like that. And then the second criteria is cheap or not, affordable or not. So your health became not the standard. It's not the standard anymore. That's called the McDonaldization of affairs. So everybody wants to drive through in knowledge. They want to finish a book. They want to have an ijaza. I'm studying for 2 years. I'm studying for 3 years. Okay, you're studying for 30 years. What did you achieve? Time of essence, yes, you have to do long, but everybody wants fast. And we are saying make use of the 20 years. But people, is not only about making use of 20 years, no, they finish in 20 days. I want the meal in 30 seconds, which is supposed to take 3-4 hours. You want it in 30 seconds. And here's my money. And why I'm going to do 3 hours and spend more money and spend more effort to have a meal? No, I can have a meal like that. But it is junk. It's going to affect you. It's going to destroy your health. All this do not matter. Same thing for the knowledge, but it does not benefit you. You're not going to benefit from it. You're not going to teach anyone. I don't care. I just want to say that I studied this in 30 days. Amortization. That means we get to the point that I want everything one-stop shop. I don't care also about the quality. I just want one thing, laziness, You don't want it to go to this store because it's good for that, and this store because of that. And that creates a competition. And the economy becomes fair with integrity because everybody wants to attract you, the customer, want to win you. So they have the best of products and they compete. No. Created in you the standard of going to one place only. Who said going to one place is the problem? No, I want to go to the fish market and I have everybody competing with me. And I want to go to the cheese market and have everybody competing with me. I want to go to the corner store, hardware store, and everyone there is competing for me, and so on and so forth. Then I'll get the best product all the time. But when you say that I am going to be your provider for everything, you're going to cheat me for sure. You are telling me that, save your time. So now you convince me that spending more time for my own benefit is not worth it. You see, that's what Walmart did. And by the way, those are statistics. If you go to Google Scholar and go Walmartization of economy, McDonaldization of economy, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Those are professors who wrote those years ago. But that goes to everywhere. Now, with the technology and the AI, everything is the same thing. One click, I get information and I run with it. So authenticity and credibility of information is not the standard anymore. I would rather spend a year looking for a piece of information, but I know I'm going to get the authentic one, than getting 100,000 pieces of information every day and I don't know which one is right and which one is wrong. All right? So training oneself and taming oneself and this riyada, it's not simple, my sisters. It's not. It's a lifetime. That's why these guided processors, when one of them is sick and is in this deathbed and actually died after this narration, they died. They died within a couple of days. When somebody comes and asks them a fatwa, they are a jurist. He said, what did he say? He repeated the question. He told his children, sit me up. He sat him up. He said, bring the paper and a pen. And he started searching and all of that. And he said, you write this. He said, what you are sick, just focus on yourself. He said, I want to meet Allah with one extra piece of information, more than what I knew. He does not want to waste the last day of his life without learning something or teaching something. And this is what makes you really sad for your own self. And it says, what am I doing with my life? What am I really doing with my life? When you see some of the scholars that they consider the time that they are eating their meal as a waste of time. So, and that's extreme, but without this, people wouldn't have that knowledge that we're talking about right now. I'm not saying that this is the best example to follow, but that's an example, Somebody saw the value in what they teach people. And that's why Allah put barakah in them. Allah chose them to be like that, to sacrifice their enjoyment for us. But what are we doing with their books? Just lying on the shelf and here and there, and I'm going to Google it whenever I need it. Show some respect. I tell people, show some respect to knowledge. When you have a scholar, show some respect for these people who dedicated their life for knowledge. They're a human being, yes. They have shortcomings, yes. They can commit sin, absolutely. But they are people who dedicated their life to carry the knowledge. Don't destroy them. Don't attack them. Don't scandal them. Protect them. When you see a book, respect it, read it, honor it. When you find a class or a knowledge, even if you're not benefiting from it, ask others to benefit from it. Read the summary of it. Make dua for them. Yes. So that is the riyada. That is what? Riyada. Yani this is the self-accountability. That's exercising one's soul. Self-accountability for every sin and every shortcomings. Then you will appreciate. It's like a student who suffered all year long, but when the exam results come up, they jump and they happy and all of that. Why? Because all of this was worth it. They forget all their troubles. Like a person who fails, they forget all their enjoyment. And I gave you the hadith last time about the person who has dipped in hellfire for a second and the person who entered Jannah for a second. Each one of them forget what they went through. Also, after all of that, Ibn Jawzi said, you should not leave yourself without also being fair to it and give it some good time to have fun and to ترويح يعني to have ease, to breathe and to also enjoy, which does not affect that kind of exercise you made. Yeah, you exercise, you may drink, but you don't indulge too much in drinking sugary juices and everything. You may drink healthy stuff. And from here and there, oh, you want to drink a Coke or drink this and that, one time. So you do not deprive yourself from everything. So you go excessive later on, relapse. No, you can, like they say, cheat day, you can eat and eat some sweets and stuff like that. But don't make this impact the exercise you do. Some people like exercise hard and then they go order a pizza or order the burger or something like that, and a big, 42 ounces of fruit punch or something. What he just did. It's like, somebody eat a big fatty meal and they said, give me a Diet Coke, please. Is this a joke or what? What are you doing? So it's like whatever you saved here, you already in advance did all of that. So you do not want to depress yourself by depriving yourself from all the enjoyments of life, but you don't want to indulge in it until you become enslaved to it. Fairness. And he said that Allah Azza wa Jal values you more than the ibadah itself. Worship is to purify yourself. So if the worship does not purify yourself, what is the value? So Allah Azza wa Jal give you value for yourself. Even that's why Allah Azza wa Jal said the musafir, or the person who's traveling, they can shorten the salah. You see, your well-being and your exhaustion is dearer to Allah and important to Allah than the own ibadah. Yani you are traveling, Allah said, I will relieve you from half of the ibadah so you can take care of yourself. See, that's the exercise we're talking about. Subhanallah. Now, Ibn Jawzi will talk about how this also to be done to the children. He said the best of the impactful exercise is done when you're young. That's why when children, when they reach puberty or before puberty, even when they're young, make them play soccer, swimming, martial arts, this and that. So their body forms according to this exercising, right? So the best teaching is when they're young. The best recitation is when they're young. The best salah is when they're young. Best morals and manners when they are young. إن الغصون إذا قومتها اعتدلت ولا يلين إذا قومته الخشب قد ينفع الأدب الأحداث في مهد وليس ينفع في ذي الشيبة الأدب. The poet saying that branches, when they are young, they're just growing. If you straighten them, they'll be straightened. When a tree, small tree, can put it this way, that way, straighten it up, it will be straightened with you. But when the wood is hard and all of that, you cannot straighten it, it will break. He said that the adab or the etiquettes will benefit the young people when they are young. But when a person with gray hair, cannot teach them etiquettes from the beginning. And doing exercising regularly is a great goal. It's a big deal, especially when they are young. So it becomes a habit. When you teach a child to run, to exercise in the morning every single day, they'll do it. It's like if you're taking them to the Fajr in the masjid every day, they'll do it. If you tell them to brush their teeth every day, they'll brush it. If you tell them to read a book every day, they will read it. It becomes a habit. Very hard to give up when they are older, especially when you teach it for them with love, that they become addicted to it. They love it. لا تسهى عن أدب الصغير وإن شكى ألم التعب. Don't overlook, don't be heedless from instructing your youngsters, even if they complain how painful it is, or they complain from being tired. The doctor, the physician, the one who treats somebody, will always look to their age, they look to their place, and they look to their time. Then they prescribe medicine for them accordingly. That's why we prescribe this training for everybody accordingly. When a person comes to me and they don't have a job, and they are young, and they are having no responsibility except themselves, I'll tell them to do certain spiritual things that a single person who is not responsible about anybody would do. But if a person laid off with the family and all of that, then I can tell them some certain ibadat to do. I have to address it. When a young person comes and they wanted to pray and fast and do sadaqah and all of that, I approach it in a different way. So prescription is different based on the age of a person, based on their environment, and based on their time. The time that we're in. What used to be good 100 years ago, it cannot be good now. And he said that the sign for the success of a child or the corruption would be known when they are young, the person, when they are young. Of course, you find somebody like smart naturally, and somebody, they get the same result, but after a while. So you should not ask any one of them to be like the other, as long as the result is met properly. But there are some of the kids from young age, they're going to be trouble when they grow up. This does not mean that you give up on them. You try your best, but then you have to believe that whatever Allah wants will happen. It's like, a horse which is not a racing horse. It's not from that breed. Whatever you do at training is never going to become a racing horse. It's going to become like a work horse, field horse. And the racing horse cannot become work horse or field horse. So you have to understand the capacity of every child that you have and teach them accordingly. One person told Sufyan al-Thawri, do we physically punish our children if they don't pray? He said, Bashirhum, yani give them glad tidings first. Make them love the salah. Sometimes give reward. Some people said, I don't want to reward my children for salah. I want them to do it for the sake of Allah. I said, you're wrong. This for the sake of Allah is for a mature adult who understand who's Allah and all of that. Some of the people used to, like Ibn Jawzi here mentioned, he used to say to the children around him, whoever prays regularly among you, I'm going to give him 5 walnuts. Jawzi, Jawzat. 5 walnuts or candy or treat. And if you pray regularly and you mark this that you prayed, then I'm going to give you reward. This is how you teach them what reward. When they grow up, you said, oh, I don't want reward from my dad, I want reward from Allah. Yeah, they'll figure that out. Ibrahim ibn Adham, he told his son one time, Ibrahim ibn Adham, one of the great tabi'in, يعني, told his son one time, يا بني اطلب الحديث. Go seek the science of hadith and the narrating it. Every time you hear a new hadith and you narrate it, I'm going to give you 1 dirham. So his son started hadith like that. When he grows, he will become makes his intention sincere to Allah. I remember my father, when I finished the Quran, he sent me to a sheikh to take ijazah from him when I just finished high school. I finished the Quran when I was elementary. But my father was afraid that the Quran is lost from me, the teenage time and all that. And actually he was right, because, playing around and all these things, not reviewing the Quran regularly, and he was traveling here and there and all of that. So after I finished high school, before college, he said, I want you to go to this sheikh and review the Quran with him. I went and reviewed the whole Quran in a month, alhamdulillah. Every day I was reading 1 juz. So my father said, every time you finish 1 juz, we'll give your sheikh this, and I'll give you the same. 20 Egyptian pounds. At that time, it was like $20. Not $20. It was about like maybe $12, $13 at that time for every juz. And you can say like about $200 now, the value. But that was at that time. Subhanallah, that's okay. Now, if somebody asks me, do this Quran and I'll give you money, why? But I can encourage my children like that too. It's very, very important. Inshallah, next time we are going to talk about like how we raise our children properly before age of puberty and after age of puberty, and how also to train spouse, wife here. And Ibn al-Jawzi talked about different age who can be a proper spouse and all that. Taman, we are talking here in brief. We're not going in specifics. Inshallah, we'll continue doing that, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. May Allah reward you all. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. Ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Alhamdulillah. Anybody have a question?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Mamdouh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Sister Maryam, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much for, again, a very engaging lecture, subhanAllah. I just wanted to kind of review, like, this is basically about understanding the nafs and then restraining it and being accountable for it. Is that how I'm understanding to?
Right.
Like, if I want to summarize it, it's about restraining your nafs and being in the habit of being accountable. So, for example, when you're talking about for children, start teaching them how to not just pray, but also talk about how they have improved their prayer. So, like a journaling every night, for example, right? And that would get them in the habit of
you develop a system of training and reward and punishment. Punishment, I'm not talking about corporal punishment. It has to be like a bodily thing. No.
Mm-hmm.
Privilege and withdrawing of the privilege, right? So
Yes.
you can have those privileges, and there is nothing wrong about attaching material reward for a spiritual act for children, huh?
Yes, of course.
There's nothing wrong about that at all.
Right. But if we do the reward system with them, or I think the accountability, the journaling system is maybe better, or is more rewarding for them in itself, because they have a sense of achievement every time they put, a star or.
That's actually the goal. That's
Right?
a,
Yeah.
it doesn't work with all the kids like that. That's why I said there are variations
Mm.
the kids' personality, right? Some of the kids,
SubhanAllah.
their fulfillment is appreciation. Some of the kids
Mm.
are material, even men and women. That's why, they
Mm.
have to understand your spouse. What do they love? What kind of love they have? And don't
Mm.
blame them. Like sometimes a husband blame his wife because she always want physical gifts, right?
Right.
But
Hmm.
that's how she relates. It's not like she's a materialistic person. Sometimes
Yes.
we jump into I was one of those who jump to that conclusion. Like she's a
Mm.
materialistic person. That's why that woman who likes flowers, likes always looking at the hands of her husband when he entering. What did he brings with him? What did he bring with him? When he's coming from travel or something like that, what did you bring for us? Did you bring us any gifts? That's in her head. She's wired
Mm.
like that. That is the rewarding system. While other women, they like words, or men. They like words. If a man whispers that I love you, or that I admire you and I like you, or like that, they like words. Some women, they like acts. Acts. Like I want to see you doing that, taking care of me, like doing things around the house and all of this. Uh,
Mhm.
so, so, so you have to decide, and that starts with the child from young age, by the way. So that's why you have to
Mhm.
study the child, which type is he? Yeah, and I have 6 children.
Yeah.
Some of them, they are like that. They like physical things in their hand. It doesn't matter how expensive or cheap it is. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They just want to hold something. So, I bought this pen for you. Oh my God, you remembered me. Yeah, I remember you. But
Right.
they needed the pen as a proof, yani. you know.
Yes.
Some of them say, I'm proud of you. Oh man, they will fly. I'm proud
Yeah.
of. And some of them, they want to see your act
Mm.
with them, like you are proud of them, you are holding their hand, you are like going on and like that. So from young age, yeah, if your children are content with appreciation and the journaling and they want to showcase what they did, yeah, be it. Work on that. Work,
Great.
yeah,
It makes sense. First, understand their love language, then connect their love to Allah.
absolutely.
Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah. Five sisters, may Allah reward you all. MashaAllah, very good attendance. Please, I can't emphasize enough on promoting this class. Bring your friends with you. And inshallah, Rabbil Alameen, we'll do our best, inshallah, to make this knowledge accessible to everybody. Right? And if you studied more than one book with me, please, inshallah, send it to either Sister Maryam or Sister Siti, your name and the books that you are studying with me. So I can write you, inshallah, also a written certificate that those are the books that you studied with me also. This for your record. We do not know. Yani life and death is in the hand of Allah Azza wa Jal. So at least you have a proof of your achievement, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me see if there are questions here. Um, Thank you for this class. It's really helpful and would love it if you could remind our husbands and other brothers as well when you have to meet with them, especially Sunday morning for Fajr, as sometimes their anger energy passes down to us, the women, and we become tensed and pass it around. Allah, this is a good one. And we as men know that, by the way. Know that you can absorb your anger and you will diffuse it and you will filter it and then you will get rid of it. We don't know how, but we know that you're going to do it. But don't transfer it around, yani, please. So uh, I understand. I'm just saying it jokingly, but every human being has capacity, and it is an understanding between man and woman. But I want you to understand that it is not, sometimes your husband is not angry at you. He's angry, but you are the only one he wants to vent with. Switch this around and turn it as you are his therapist indirectly. You just want to be angry, is not because angry at you. Calm them down, give them a shoulder massage, tell them, inshallah, everything will be all right. You pray to Rak'ah, I'll make some lemonade with you, something like that. And after a while, things should change. Unless you are the reason of the anger. or they are the reason of the anger, or something reason of the anger, we should work together on it. That's life, you know, life. And we tell the men the same thing, but inshallah I'll speak about it بإذن ta'ala. The first of chances, we'll speak on Sunday morning about it, and when Tafsir of Surah An-Nur will also speak about it بإذن ta'ala. I promise you that, inshallah. And remind me next time, I can also record a minute or two. Sister Siti can cut it, clip it, and that will become a message for many. All right. So, but you are asking me very hard task, because this message will be from myself first. And it is hard. But inshallah we'll do. بإذن الله تعالى. جزاكم الله خيرا. الله يبارك فيكم جميعا. السلام عليكم.
No class next week, inshallah.
The next Wednesday, no, but after that. But we will have a class tonight, inshallah, yes.
Yes, okay.
Tonight, Noor, inshallah, will continue.
Okay.
بارك الله فيك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.